All right. Next one comes in from friend of the show, Lewis Foster, who
Yes,
says,
Lewis.
so he commented on our clip about Vladdy discussing being open to an extension, right? Um, I don't know which one of us said it, but it was something along the lines of, being critical of long-term deals and they're risky. And we pointed out all these examples of mega deals like the Garrett Cole contract.
That didn't
the,
work.
the
Yes, that
Albert
didn't work out.
Pujols deal. All these ones that just were disaster, right? Fernando Tatis Jr. more recently, right? And Lewis commented with the Bryce Harper, the Manny Machado mega deals are working out really well, and Nolan Arenado as well. So I just wanted to push back on that. Lewis really knows his stuff, so I'm uncomfortable pushing back on Lewis too much. Mm-hmm. Very knowledgeable young man. But these 3 mega deals, I do want to just start by all of these guys are like 30 still.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that a 13-year contract when it's got 9 years left on the deal has worked out, I think that's a little premature. Can you agree with me on that?
I can agree with you on that. You want a qualifier on that this has worked out. You want a so far these have been good contracts.
At least, yes, if not more, and I'll get to that. The Manny Machado deal, I will give a pass and say so far it has worked out. He is only 30, so I think he has
5 more years, I think.
5 more years, yeah. So like call me in 2026 or 2024 even, and we'll see, right? Because that's...
You would agree if he continues to produce in the way he has for the next 3 years and they need to eat the last 2 years of that mega contract, we can say it worked out, correct? Like with every mega contract, it kind of goes without saying that the organization
you're gonna have a few dead
is
years
ready
at the
to
end.
Bite a bullet at the end, yes.
This is just an arbitrary number that I'm pulling out off the top of my head. Just a vibe check. But I would say more than half the length of the contract has to feel like a good deal for it to be a good deal. Like if it's a 9-year deal, I would say at least 5 of those had to have been like money well spent. Mm-hmm. And even that feels a little bit like generous for this qualifier. Like I feel like it should be closer to like 60 or 70%. If it's a 13-year deal,
I would say that's fine.
I would want at least like 9 or 10 years to be like, yeah, that's good. And if we had to eat 4 at the end, that's the difference between you signing them and them signing with someone else, right? Like Yusei Kikuchi's in Toronto on a 3-year deal because everybody else wanted to give him 2, and we had to give him the 3rd year to get him here, right?
I do think there's exceptions to this.
Okay.
There's the old saying, flags fly forever. So I think that if a championship is a part of that mega deal,
a great asterisk, Scott. I know where you're going with this. Continue, but I just want you to know I'm on board with this.
I'm just saying, when you look at Nolan Arenado's contract, which so far so good, and I mean the Rockies signed him long term and then paid St. Louis to take him, paid St. Louis $50 million to take Nolan Arenado so that they could sign Chris Bryant for a mega deal and get way less production. Anyways, we don't need to get into the management of the Colorado Rockies. However, if you're just looking at Nolan Arenado, he has put up mega numbers. Even this year, he has been one of the, if not the top producer. I haven't looked at all the third baseman's numbers, but if he's not the top producing third baseman, it's because Manny Machado has better numbers than him, but he's right there. He's right there.
29 home runs, 98 RBIs, batting average 296, OPS 900.
Superstar.
Elite. Yeah.
Elite. Absolutely elite. And on top of that, defensively, one of the top third basemen in the league. So right now, he is earning his money. I wouldn't say that it's a deal, but he's worth every penny that he has got. And if for some crazy reason the Cardinals wind up winning the World Series in the next year or two, and then Nolan Arenado falls off a cliff, I think you just bite it. I think you're like, okay, that's fine.
Okay. This is my favorite of the three. This was my favorite one to pick apart. He is performing exceptionally well. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we could give St. Louis any sort of opinion. I don't think they get a say on whether this was a good deal or not. Because, like you said, $50 million is being paid by the Rockies, right? I think the only person or the only lens that we're able to view was this a good deal through is the Colorado Rockies lens.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone in Colorado would say Nolan Arenado, that mega deal sure worked out. We got him for 2 glorious years, and then he forced a trade, and then we paid for like a bunch of his salary to play for someone else.
Yeah.
Are the numbers there? Absolutely. Again, still only 31, but I think that we have to view it through the lens of Colorado Rockies signed that deal, and I don't think they would claim that as a mega deal that worked out really well. So,
Can we talk Manny Machado for a second here?
Please.
Do you want to maybe pull up his stats here while we do this? Okay.
Way ahead of you.
Because I was looking over Manny Machado's career stats here recently, and I was a little blown away. Obviously, as Jays fans, we remember Manny Machado coming up in the Orioles system.
Of course.
He made his debut in the AL East. He was always one of those guys that when the Jays went to Baltimore, he was the face of the franchise there, putting up great numbers. They moved him around from shortstop back to from third base back to shortstop, and his original position then to third base again. You know, he had some versatility. You look at his numbers, man. If he continues, honestly, even for the next 3 to 4 years to put up numbers like he's putting up numbers, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, he's at 280 home runs right now. He's only 29 years old. He was a rookie at the age of 19. So he's in his 11th season, right? So that easier to get to those major milestones, like let's just say 500 home runs, 600 home runs. If you start at 19, then if you're Aaron Judge as a rookie,
and start at 25,
25, right? So you want to say what? Another 5 years, 3, let's go 4 years at like 30-ish home runs. So let's give him 35. Let's just be generous. 4 times 35, that's 140. Plus the 280 that he already has. It's 420 home runs. And that only
420, man. No, sorry.
You knew this was coming. You knew I was going to get you there, didn't you? I walked right into that one. A pretty elaborate setup there, Scott. Kudos to you.
Yeah, right? Really rope and doped you into that.
But, I mean, okay, so that puts him at like 420 home runs at age 33 with another 5 years to... Yeah, I would say 500 home runs is
totally attainable. And
totally
do you have
possible.
Look at his career wins above replacement. Is his WAR up there?
I don't know where to find that. I never look at WAR.
Okay.
I don't even know. Oh, here we go. Career WAR. 51 is his career WAR.
So he could literally finish his career with 100 wins above replacement, which is about as elite as it gets.
I would say 100 wins above replacement is going to be a stretch for him to get to. He had 2 seasons at over 7. That was in 2015, 2016 with the Orioles. And since then, it's been the highs have been
5, right?
Around 5 with the Padres the last 2 years. But there's a stretch in the middle where it's around 3 or 2, 2.5, stuff like that. So he would have to play at a very high level for the next 11 years to have a WAR that high, and I just don't think
you think he's got 5 elite. You think he's got 5 elite seasons left in him, though, eh?
5 elite seasons,
29 to 34, with the experience he has now.
Maybe I'm skeptical. I would say
he's been very versatile. I would say very durable.
If you put the number at 3, I would say probably 3. I would feel comfortable saying yes. 34, 35 years old, man. That's starting to be like That's a vet at that point.
Oh, for sure it is.
I don't know. I mean, look at what Paul Goldschmidt's doing. He's 35, right? So
Yeah.
it's doable. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I just talked myself into it. Yeah, he could do that. So if he's putting up 6 or 7 WAR for 5 more years, that's another 30.
Mm-hmm.
That puts him at 80 wins above replacement for his career. But again, if I would say 90, it would still be an impressive number for him to get to.
Especially with the way baseball's been the last 10 years, where there has been so many dips in offense, and there has been the dead ball in MLB without any ability to not constantly mess with the game, you know? So he has kind of grown up through an odd time in baseball. So his numbers are super impressive for a guy of the last 10 years, right? And the new style of baseball.
You know what, too? When he was in Baltimore, he was one of the most hated players in the league. I don't think he has that reputation anymore. Am I out to lunch on this? I don't follow the Padres too closely, but
I think if you're a megastar and you get out of the AL East, automatically the hate goes down for you.
Yeah, that's fair. I
think look also, across, right?
I also think like the Fernando Tatis Jr. relationship, I think maybe it's just me. I could be totally out to lunch here, but it feels like I have more respect for Manny Machado and the way he's handled Fernando Tatis in like a big brother kind of a role. Like we've seen some of the outbursts and Machado's just kind of like, you know, putting him in his place and like, hey, we're playing for the team, not for ourselves here and this sort of stuff. You know, we've seen it on more than one occasion, right? So
we have seen it more than once. And I think it has become almost infamous, him yelling at Fernando there.
Part of their
this
warm-ups.
isn't about you. This isn't about you.
All right. Anything else to add on Manny Machado? Because I do want to talk Bryce Harper before we move on.
No, let's get to Bryce.
All right. Bryce Harper signed a 13-year, $330 million, the most mega of these 3 mega deals. He has 9 years left after this season. Has he put up good offensive numbers? Yeah, you betcha.
When he's healthy, yes.
Last year, he played 141 games, which is, close enough to call it a full season, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
if you hit 140,
everybody has bumps and bruises. Yeah. 140 is fine. So he hit 309 last year with an OPS over 1,000. OPS plus of 179. He had 35 home runs. This year, 84 games, so not a full season. But when he's there, he's got a batting average of 296 and an OPS of 923. Still very good numbers. But he has missed time. He's only 30. Mm-hmm. There's 9 years left on this deal. Mm-hmm. And to further discredit this 84. Now, Bryce Harper, anybody who's been with the walk-off for the last year knows, one of my most punchable faces in the MLB.
Yes.
Would I punch him in real life? Of course not. He would whoop my butt. But 84 games. All but 10 of those are as DH. So even though he's only played, half the season, even that has been kind of limping his way through. And I just don't think that anybody feels good about doling out $300 million to a permanent DH or a full-time
and
DH.
I think some of these caveats you're bringing up right now are reasons why we're going to see fewer mega deals as things roll out with this league. I think we're going to see more deals like Wander Franco and
Julio Rodriguez,
right? J-Rod, because what this allows teams to do is buy out the arbiers and add a couple extra years. It also allows these players who are, baseball skewing younger and younger every single season. It's going to allow these players who are starting their careers at 19, 20 to be free agents at 30 and maybe still score a mega deal, a la Aaron Judge is doing currently. And if you look at guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right, like he's 23 right now. Maybe he does sign an 8-year mega deal and go to free agency at 31 when he can still get another mega contract, right? I think that organizations are going to skew more and more towards 6 to 8 year deals. There's just too much evidence of it not working out, and health is such a big one, right? Like, look at Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, who are incredible players. If they are on the field, these guys are top 10 players. It doesn't matter, right? Like, if they're playing, these guys are top 10 players in the entirety of Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
what good are they if they're not on the field?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and I think that's the whole point of this conversation is that, like, even the deals that do work out still really don't, like, work out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
but at the same time, it's like there's only a finite number of these type of players. So maybe that's what is required to even have one of them on your team. Not every Major League Baseball team gets a Manny Machado or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? Like, a lot of these teams, even it's difficult enough to develop players into that type of talent, let alone to be able to scout them and get them on board beforehand. And then it's even more difficult. You even need more money to grab these type of players in free agency.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to end with this. I love your asterisk that flags fly forever, and any mega deal that results in a wedding
World
ring
Series?
of sorts. Yeah, World Series ring. That's the word. That is a successful deal. So the Mookie Betts deals of the world, all the deals the Braves signed last year, all of those, regardless of how anything else turns out, were good deals. So